Yes, that gives us 8.
Okay, let's proceed with a reminder that under the rules, we have 8, which is a majority of the board. We can meet, but any affirmative action that the board takes requires 8 voting yes. So that would mean today that a nay vote would negate any decision that the board is attempting to make today. I don't want to interfere with anybody's free act and deed, but that is a point of procedure that we should be clear on. We have 8 people in attendance, and it takes 8 yes votes to do anything. I don't know if that includes adjourning, but theoretically we could be here forever and never adjourn if we need 8 votes and somebody votes no.
Let's hope that's not the case.
We'll try not to let that happen. Okay, my name is Churchill Hines. I'm the chair of the Vermont State Colleges System Board. This is a special meeting of the Vermont State Colleges Board of Trustees, duly warned for 4 o'clock in the afternoon on July 6th, 2020. It is being carried via Zoom teleconference and also streamed on YouTube. We will anticipate a fairly concise meeting today. We do not have a long agenda. I'll just ask Jen Porrier if she has what she needs for a roll call, or do you need to have everybody weigh in?
No, I'm fine. We can continue. Thank you.
Okay. We do have one routine item. We have circulated ahead of today's meeting copies of the June 29th, 2020 minutes of this board. We'd like to adopt those today. If someone would make a motion, please.
Oh,
Do we have a second?
Sure, second.
Jim has seconded. Any comments, edits, or other changes to be brought to the minutes for our June 29th meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the June 29th minutes, please say aye.
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 Any nays? Then I believe we have adopted the June 29th minutes. What we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to turn now to comments from the public. And Jennifer, or whoever is managing that, if you could please let us know if there's anyone who would like to share anything with the board at this time. I would indicate to any members of the press that we anticipate being available to the press at the close of the meeting. So we don't necessarily need to do that during this point in time, but we'll listen to what anybody has to bring to us.
I do not see any hands raised at this time, Mr. Chair. If anyone from the public would like to speak, please do that. I'm not seeing any.
Then let's turn to other business. Is there any other business to come before the board at this time? Then our plan would be at this time to go into executive session, and we will be there for, I hope won't be an extended period of time, but for some time. And we will come out, and we do anticipate coming out of executive session and taking action. So Trustee Dickinson, if you could bring us into executive session, please.
I move the Vermont State Colleges Board of Trustees enters executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 313 subsection A3 to discuss the employment of a public officer. The board shall make a final decision on any such public officer in an open meeting and shall explain the reasons for the final decision during the open session. In its discretion, the board invites the interim chancellor to attend as needed. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
What I would suggest, if we could, is that the trustees meet on their own for a bit, and then Sophie, I will text you to join us.
Okay.
If that's okay. All those in favor of going into executive session, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? And then we shall go into executive session. Please disconnect from this address and go to our special address. Thank you. One and all, we are coming out of executive session now. We are back in public session. We took no action during our executive session, but we do anticipate taking action at this time, and I would turn to Trustee Dickinson.
Okay, do you want me to make the motion?
Yes, you may.
Okay, after considering the recommendation of the search committee with input from the broader VSC community, including feedback from our presidents, our union leaders, the Chancellor's office senior staff, and based on her exemplary performance as interim chancellor over the past 2 months, I move that the Vermont State College System Board of Trustees appoint Sophie Elizabeth Zadotny, Esquire, as the next chancellor of the Vermont State College System under terms and conditions agreed upon between the board chair and Ms. Zadotny. I'm going to get your name right one of these days, Sophie. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Second from David as well as Jim. Is there any discussion or debate?
I think I'd like to repeat, just say thank you to Sophie for being willing to and able to step up to the plate and fill in this role and help lead the Vermont State College through this next very challenging time. And we appreciate your ability and your willingness, Sophie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I think we're going to take a vote. Michael.
So, Church, I just wanted to echo that and say thank you to Sophie for stepping up. And we're really looking forward to working with you during the future here as we look to figure out where the system is going and how best to get there, and just compliment you on the job that you've already done in the last 2.5 months or so. We've come a long way, and look forward to what you'll be able to where you'll be able to bring us in the months ahead.
Thank you very much.
For further discussion, Lynn.
Yes, I just want to thank Sophie. She has been very patient and has really been trying to build a team, and has worked really well with the board as far as I can see. Certainly was helpful to us as we did the search. So I really want to say thank you very much, and I wish you the very best of luck in the next few months, because I think we're all going to need it.
Thank you.
Sophie and I met with the governor this afternoon, as well as with the speaker and the president pro tem. And I indicated that from where I sat, she's rewritten the definition of interim. Mm-hmm. Most people think of interim as caretaker, just keep the lights on. And it's been nothing like that whatsoever. I think the change from the emotional and the practical situation we were in when we appointed you, I believe on April 29th, to where we are now is remarkable. Mm-hmm. I had in my mind pictures of meetings where people would sit around the tables with their backs to one another, and you have gotten everybody turned around. And that's a giant step, considering how deep we were into kind of dissatisfaction and uncertainty just a matter of 8 or 9 weeks ago. So I too thank you. And this board is about to take action that I believe it has taken maybe 7 times in the last 60 years. And that is the appointment of a chancellor. And unless there is further debate or discussion, I would like to call for all those in favor of appointing Sophie Zadotny as our next chancellor, as outlined in the motion read by Trustee Dickinson. Please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Welcome, Chancellor.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to continue. I really do appreciate it. It's been an interesting couple of months, and yeah, it wasn't something I thought I would be interested in doing, but I feel like I've grown in the role. So I do appreciate, your confidence in me. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I really appreciate how engaged you've all been, and You know, we've had a lot of meetings and you've nearly all shown up for all the meetings. So that's really impressive. It says a lot about the fact that you care about the Vermont State Colleges and what happens to the Vermont State Colleges. And I think people should take reassurance from that, that we have a very committed board that really is engaged and wants to move us forward. So, you know, thank you very much. And I just really appreciate the support of the presidents. I've really enjoyed working with them and will continue to enjoy working with them. And, you know, all the other folks that I've talked to and worked with, particularly the people that have stepped up and are working on our system-wide task force and the other task forces that have been, you know, both at VTC and at NVU, our labor unions, their task force, the VSCS Thrive folks, everyone that's really committed to seeing the Vermont State Colleges, you know, succeed and in the future, and understand the important role that we have in the state of Vermont in changing people's lives and opening doors for them for the future, and you know, finding jobs. And I think we're vital to the future of the state of Vermont. And I'm just glad that everyone is pulling in the same direction. And I really hope that we can make a success of this coming year, maybe 2 years, 3 years, whatever it takes to get us from here to the other side. So I really appreciate your faith and trust in me, and I hope not to disappoint you and let you down. And I will do everything I can to keep this moving forward and being successful in the long run. So again, I really do appreciate your support of me. So thank you.
It's a fresh new day for the Vermont State Colleges.
Yeah, it's weird to think we were all still in snow when you know, when COVID started.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey.
It has, and we continue. Is there other business to come before the board today? I do believe we have, oh, Lynn, please.
Yeah, I just want to thank Sophie for the all the different attached PDFs that you send to us that are so informative. It was really interesting to read the ones about Maine and about UVM and what they're planning, and all of the different pieces and parts of the things that are moving every week, but almost every day. And they were really very instructive this week. I mean, it gives me a much better idea of where we're probably going to have to go and how we're going to get there.
Well, we're certainly not alone. I mean, we feel like we've been sort of singled out going through this, but we're not alone. I mean, we obviously were in, you know, financial peril before COVID hit, but there are a lot of other institutions that have been really severely impacted by COVID, and there are a lot of other institutions, again, like the University of Maine system, that have been addressing the same kinds of challenges that Vermont has been facing and have been exploring ways to, you know, to move forward. So there are some other models out there around the country, and that's part of what our task force's job is to look and see what could work for us. And we'll work with the legislative select committee and the work they do as well, looking at higher education in the state of Vermont. But my hope is we really can build a higher education system that really serves the state of Vermont moving forward.
David.
So before we adjourn, I just wanted to say something, which is over the course of my career, I've served on many, many boards, and I've also served as the chair of several over the years. And I've never worked with a board that has such a hardworking chair as the chair that we have. And I just wanted to thank Church for rising to the challenges of the pandemic and everything we've been going through. And I'm proud to have you as our leader, and we're lucky to have you. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, I do want to echo that, Church. You put in an extraordinary amount of time and effort over the past few months and weeks, and I appreciate your assistance over the past couple of months enormously as well.
Well, we all do it in our own way, and it's a great team. It's a great team. It's a beautiful day out there. Is there anything else to come before this board for this afternoon? Our next regular board meeting, I'm watching Sophie's eyes, is not until mid-September. I wouldn't be surprised at all if there is a reason that we may want to spend some time together before then, but maybe not. We'll see how that plays out. I believe we have two major standing committees meeting on July 23rd. I think finance and long-range planning, so we will continue to see each other. And I would encourage us to close out this meeting and take advantage of what happens so rarely in Vermont. Just a string of absolutely glorious days. Trustee Maisland.
Two things. One, Todd, before you go, I've really enjoyed working with you. You speak clear. That's the, you know, I mean, I've enjoyed most of, I shouldn't say most of, that's my Yankee talk. I really enjoyed working with you. You've been a great help. If you're around Most Peculiar someday, I'd happy to buy you a beer once we can do that.
Thank you, Jim.
And yeah, it's a nice day out there. And so this has been quite an exercise, but here we are. And so let's move forward from here.
And Todd, I've always known that
Sounds good.
I've always known that your leash was attached to my collar, but you gave me a lot of freedom, and only rarely did you have to yank on it.
I appreciate that, Church. I've learned a great deal working with this board, and celebrate that Sophie is taking the reins of this great institution, and really wish all the best. We'll be rooting absolutely and throughout for her continued success. I'm very excited.
Yes, thank you, Todd.
You are a noble servant of Vermont, and I'm glad to know that you're still going to be here.
Cool.
Wouldn't go anywhere else.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'm sorry.
Moved.
Did we want to take any questions or no at this time?
Questions from the public?
Yes.
What I suggest we do is adjourn the meeting, because I know some people are on timelines, and perhaps Sophie and I can stay on Zoom if to chat with anybody.
Sounds
Does that
good.
sound okay? We don't close out the Zoom session if people do want to talk. I believe we did have a motion to adjourn. And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of adjourning this wonderful meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
And we did have clearly at least 8 votes, right? So we can close
Yeah.
the meeting.
Yep.
Very good. Todd is happy. Thank you one and all.
I'm happy.